Hey, I'm Ale.
And I'm Andre,
We're both facilitators.
and we do things a bit differently,
These are our memoirs.
and we want you to be a part of them.
We hope you enjoy this episode.
This is Facilitators Memoirs, where we break the rules and make the magic happen. The art of guiding chaos into clarity, turning dead-end discussions into breakthroughs, and making collaboration actually work. Sounds interesting? Then come join us. Let's get disruptive.
Hello, Andre.
Hello, hello.
Good to see you.
Hey, nice to see you too.
Well, I think today is going to be a little bit difficult to focus because it might not be about focusing today, right, Andre?
Yeah, we're a bit distracted. Maybe tell the listeners why?
Yeah, we are in a Greek restaurant.
Yeah.
Berlin, once
Greek
again.
food this time.
Greek food this
Very
time, exactly. So we
delicious.
really are changing. But on top of that, the extra interesting thing about it is that we are outside because, again, summer.
Yeah.
So you might listen a little bit to the noise or to the sounds of the cars from one side,
Yeah.
the people on the other side, the nice food, people going and coming back. And that kind of took us a little bit into thinking that it's very distracting today, the place that we are at, right, Andre?
There's a lot going on around us,
Right.
It's a busy restaurant, it's delicious food, so there's people here enjoying, not just us. We're right by the road, so there's stuff going on the road.
Everywhere we see, there's something happening. It takes
And
our life.
It's summer.
And it's summer.
Summer's a time where, I'm distracted often. I gotta say, my mind is on other things.
Yeah.
And it got us thinking.
Yeah.
We are a little bit distracted and scatterbrained right now.
Which is kind of the reason why it would be actually interesting to talk about exactly that point.
Yeah. We got to talking about when are we distracted, or when does distraction become an issue in our facilitation work?
Yeah, because, I mean, at the end of the day, distractions are constantly coming to us. And now that we were having the pre-conversation with Andrew, we were noticing, like, yes, also in our lives, in our personal, professional lives, lots of things coming on. And there's really not a moment where we are really under control, like everything is like the way that we would like it, as we have been talking about or already in other episodes. But then again, all those distractions, is there anything positive about them? Could there be something actually that can help us also deal with the day or go through around the day? Or maybe it's just a big challenge that we have to overcome when we are facilitating.
Yeah.
That's kind of the conversation we wanted to have today, right, Andre?
It is. And it's a distraction in people's private lives, in our
Exactly.
private lives, right? I arrived here distracted today already, so the additional distractions just compounded that.
Exactly.
So it's a personal issue, but it also affects our facilitation work, we came to notice.
Yeah.
And we both have some good examples, I think, to illustrate different dimensions of it.
Yeah.
Because as you just so eloquently put, generally distractions lead to negative emotions.
Exactly.
Right?
Where we think like it's negative,
I'm
it's bad.
frustrated, I'm not focused.
Yeah.
Right? There's things keeping me away from doing something maybe I should be doing instead. Right? And everybody has experiences with that.
And even if we are working already as facilitators, as coaches, as trainers, we have constantly been told that we have to bring people to be focused, to be in the session, to be with us, to pay attention to what is happening there. Maybe even in our sessions, in our podcast before, we have been talking about how important it is to really be there in the moment and everything.
Right.
But then how is this distraction going to help us or going to be a challenge altogether? We have to figure it out, right?
Right. And also the question of who is distracted. Are we the ones who are distracted? Are our participants distracted?
Yeah.
Is the distraction of our participants getting us distracted?
That happens to us facilitators. We get very, very distracted because of how participants are also telling us or taking us to different other topics, right?
Right. So why don't you start today with your example?
Yes, how about then we do it like that? Well, in my case, I find that distractions can be something, well, let's not say positive, but it's a very interesting opportunity. That's how I could put it. There have been many cases where distractions have been a challenge in my sessions, but I can actually share one or a couple of examples of how it has been actually very positive altogether.
please do.
So there were many cases where I was working with with entrepreneurs, especially here in Berlin. I worked for a lot of time in the social sector with social entrepreneurs, And because I also came with this background of I have to bring value, I have to bring something interesting and important for the participants.
Right.
Especially at the beginning of my career here in Berlin. Also,
high expectations.
High
as we discussed
expectations,
in a previous
exactly.
episode,
Yes,
right?
yeah. I was coming to the sessions and I was thinking, okay, I have to prepare myself a lot. So I would bring this business canvas or topics that had to do a lot with their businesses and what they had to be working on and stuff.
Yeah.
And then what happened every single time that I was having a session was that I would go around and say like, okay, so that I can start, I'm gonna just check on everyone. Let's do a little bit of a check-in in a very simple way of how are we feeling, what things that are happening in our life, how are we coming to the session today.
Which is a great thing that I think you should never skip over.
Exactly. Yes,
it really
important.
makes people arrive in your event.
Yeah.
And it really feels, it's the first step to a participant feeling heard and seen
Exactly, and it gives
and
you,
valued.
as a facilitator, it gives you also a lot of information about the audience that you
Sure.
have, right?
Yes.
How are they arriving? How
Yes.
should I manage my energy and everything, right?
Absolutely,
So things that we have been discussing also in other episodes. But the important thing here in this case was that because of that, I would be open what I would call like a Pandora's box, like a box of many, or also like we call it like a can of worms, like all surprises would pop up.
You never know what's
Why?
going to come.
Because especially for entrepreneurs and migrant entrepreneurs here in Berlin, there's so many things that are complicated for them. That are challenges, right? And let's not even talk about the bureaucratic process and the challenges that they were going through, but also
Right.
like the emotional challenges that they were going through. It opens many things, and then I would notice that they would be talking about it and they would be connected with one another and say like, hey, yes, I'm also going through that, or I'm also having that emotion. I'm also like struggling with this bureaucratic process and so on. And there I was, as a facilitator, with two options. Do I not pay attention to this, let it happen and then go back to my topic? Or do I use this, once again, in quotation marks, distractions, do I use them as an opportunity for something else? And most of the time I found myself using it for something else. And that something else was creating connection, creating a moment of networking for them, creating a moment where everyone was feeling a little bit more valued with what they were saying. Because I noticed like, hey, even if I want to go into my topic right now, people are not going to pay attention so much because for them it's more important what they're talking about in this. So if you pay attention to that moment, if you value that moment, people are going to give you your trust as a facilitator, and then they're going to trust you like, okay, and now we can also go into our topic and you can naturally progress into the next thing. But if you would just stop it in the moment, it feels awkward for the facilitator, it feels awkward for the group, because there was no space really to heal or to close that part of the session properly. So in my case, it helped a lot to really acknowledge that this was happening, that every session, every beginning of the session was like Alcoholic Anonymous, and anyone was saying what their challenges were, and it became something very natural that we would be doing in every single one of the sessions because they were waiting for that time. And then after I knew that this was happening, I could also prepare myself with some timing booked specifically for those distractions. Okay, I know it's going to take a little bit of time. People need to talk also about this and about that. So I could also like put in the time for that to happen. So in my case, at least in this example, distractions were actually a very nice opportunity for connection, for trust, for creating dynamics that were more valuable also for the group. So that's a way to use it in a positive way, or to use it a little bit more in your favor as a facilitator, at least.
Mm-hmm. That sounds to me like you're just kind of giving space to the reality of the situation, right?
Yeah.
Because people are coming with certain things on their mind and certain things that are distracting them, whether it be emotional or cognitive.
And totally human, right? Like human stress that we constantly have.
I mean, the most human thing, right? I mean, and also something where it's something you can almost expect with a participant coming to any event, especially, I don't know, an evening event or something.
That day has gone by, so many things that they have been doing also at work and everything that can bring also a little bit of space.
You never know what's going on in their lives.
Yeah.
And I think you should almost kind of assume that your participants have other things on their mind than what the topic of your workshop is.
I would even say like that, right? If you are a facilitator that is becoming a little bit more experienced, know already that it's going to be happening, so you factor that idea or that part also for your session. You know that this is
Right.
going to take a little bit of time, and then you have to make sure that everyone comes into the right headspace and everything, right?
Right. And in this case, very concretely, that would be like your opening exercise or round of how is everybody doing. You almost assume that people will be feeling a certain way about certain things.
And
You're going to give that some time. And that's something that I second. I also like to give those rounds in the beginning as much time as necessary.
Yeah.
And if they go longer, I'm losing time for the stuff I'd prepared and for the content-based part of the workshop.
Yeah.
But it's invaluable to take that time at the beginning.
Because you're getting the trust, you're getting the rest of the other values that is important for the group.
And also the interaction between the participants, because if somebody says, this is how I'm feeling, it might resonate with somebody else. And then all of a sudden you're creating a collective atmosphere, a collective understanding of how each other are feeling.
You create empathy for the others, right? Exactly.
And then you have your group, and then you also have a more stable emotional base to build your process on.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great example of how you turn the distraction into something positive and try to take value from it for your session.
And I know that in your case, Andre, distraction is a big thing, especially working with younger participants, right? How is it for you, Andre?
It's difficult.
You have to see Andre right now sighing and saying like, yes, look at everyone.
I hope the microphone caught the sigh.
Really caught that because that distraction that we were talking about is different for Andre. How is it?
We hit a nerve today with this topic,
Yes.
for sure, because at this point in time I'm having difficulties with it, and I hope that it doesn't really come across here that we are the all-knowing facilitators who want to share the answers to all the questions that a facilitator may have, because that's really not the case.
Not the case, of course.
Very much a work in progress. Sure, we're experienced and we do things in a particular way.
We're still also learning.
But yeah, it's a constant work in progress, and this topic of distractions is a huge issue when working with young people, especially younger children.
Yeah.
More so than the teenagers. Although, of course, the teenagers, the cliches of our modern time, the distraction of the phones,
the
and the
cell
technology,
phones,
and the TikToks and all this stuff. It's a real thing. It's a real influence. The attention span has got shorter for a lot of young people.
Yeah.
They struggle with it themselves, and it is a huge distraction. And it makes it very difficult for them to learn anything on their own time, because when I'm with them, it's not so much of an issue. But when I say, okay, well, maybe you can do this until next time on your own time, that's when they have difficulties of controlling the distraction and the procrastination dangers of their technology.
I really appreciate the fact that you're saying that, Andre, because you're not even going about on the topic of having a cell phone in front of you, but just the results of it and the way that we're interacting already, like you are seeing it every day, right?
Yeah, the consequences of the distraction. So,
exactly.
If you're preparing for a final exam, your final school year exam, and you have 3 weeks left, it's not ideal that 2 of those 3 weeks you only spend on TikTok.
By all means, exactly.
Right?
It would not help.
It's not ideal.
It's not gonna help.
And for me as a tutor, it's not ideal to have the student who I'm helping prepare for that exam, who I really want to do well and do everything in my power to help them, put them in a position.
And you would like them to focus just for a little while so that they could do that.
Right. But that's not even the example I want to get to. Because that is, believe it or not, even a little bit more manageable than what I'm going through. So,
go figure.
The real distraction boss. Let's imagine like you're playing a video game and there's a boss.
So this is boss number 1 and the boss number.
In German we say Endgegner, so your final boss.
The final
right?
boss. The final
so
boss.
this is my current final boss that I'm doing anything I can to work against.
So you just told us about that the minimal bosses, and we're going to the big one.
I'm really building this up, I noticed. But so let me set the scene. I have a tutoring group. Yeah, I have different tutoring groups with different age ranges. And this is my most challenging tutoring group. It's a group of about 10 kids. Not even a lot, but 10 young kids. And 10 young kids, different ages. Very active personalities for the most part. I would say 7 out of 10 are hyperactive.
Okay, that's a challenge already.
And all of them struggle with concentration and attention spans, and
in their own way,
are in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and the oldest are in 5th grade. So between 2nd and 5th grade. So they're not at an age where they particularly have an intrinsic motivation to do schoolwork. That generally comes middle school, 7th, 8th, latest 9th grade, when they start realizing, when they're older and they start realizing that
It's important.
There's a reason they're
so.
doing it, and there's
Yeah.
a reason they should at least get their school degree.
They're in the age that every day is basically just a new adventure for them in that sense.
And here it's like anything, they want to do anything but the school.
But they exactly.
Yeah, okay, so I'm doing after school tutoring in this setting, and I'm trying to get 2nd to 5th graders after school to do schoolwork, or at least something productive that will help them grow.
Exactly.
And distractions are the norm.
Yeah.
All right. And the kind of distractions I'm talking about are chewing gum loud, holding a pencil between your nose and your lip, and making a funny face.
Exactly.
Right. It's as soon as I do for 1 second, everybody be happy.
Yeah.
Right. It's two little girls that can't look at each other having a lap attack. And
It's like
can't
interactive.
control themselves. Like for 15 minutes, they can't control themselves.
15 minutes of
Yes,
just laughter.
just laughter.
Oh,
We've made a little bit of progress in terms of that, but
Yeah.
that's how it started, with 15 minutes of I can't get them to stop
so
laughing.
you did manage to get a little bit of agreement on something.
Slow progress, followed by regression.
I regression by going back.
I feel like at this point in time, I'm regressing with the group. It's difficult because they are the type of student that don't have ideal conditions at home,
Right.
have a migration background, maybe German isn't their first language.
Yeah.
German, maybe they weren't even born in Germany for half of them, and they really are the type of young people that need this extra support.
By all means, yeah, sure.
And I know that if we're not making the use of this time, then they're going to struggle even more down the road. At the same time, listen, I'm fully aware these are children.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I'm fully aware that, the expectations are not enormous.
And that their priorities are also in a different place also at this age.
Yeah. I'm not expecting much from this 1 hour that I have with them after school. But we need to do something productive.
Exactly. You have to
Right.
use the time for something, yeah.
And constantly I have these little distractions.
Yeah.
And they're at this age where what can I do, right? So
Fight it or go along
look,
with it.
I can tell them to stop.
Yeah.
1 second later they'll do it again.
Yeah. Or something else is gonna come and
Or
it's gonna be
something
a new
else.
distraction. Yeah.
I can try to explain to them why it's important that we work on something productive.
Yeah.
Okay, and maybe cut down the distractions.
Yeah.
But they're children.
But they're minimizing something that is gonna come back.
They're not listening to me in the sense of like, oh great, this is for my future. Oh, okay, that's motivation
They
for
don't.
me.
They don't see that future. They're focused on right now, and I'm having fun.
Right.
I'm with my friends.
So, not uncommon that we're sitting and working, and then all of a sudden one of the girls gets up and starts dancing and singing. Out of nowhere. It's because she has the energy and wants to.
Just out of the blue.
So there's a whole catalog of these small distractions.
But dear listeners, look for that catalog. You can ask it already directly here to the podcast.
I'll start putting it together.
Another product that we have to put
I'll
out
step
there.
up my documentation game to get together. But really, that's something, and I hope it comes across that this is something I'm still dealing with and trying to figure out. And it's really trial and error, and it's really something I'm building in the long term. And I'm also kind of expecting it to stay this way until they reach a certain age, and just kind of make the most of the time nonetheless. But yeah, it raises a big question that's ongoing, is connected then again to the youth who are having difficulties with the TikTok and the smartphones and the chats and whatnot. It's a connected issue of concentration, being able to concentrate, being able to do something and give it your full attention.
Yeah.
Being able to build on something because I've already done it and now I'm focused on advancing what I've done. And that's something that is a constant struggle, and it varies with the age group, as I just mentioned, and it varies with the types of distractions and how to deal with them. And I think I wouldn't even say it's a negative. I would say it's just reality. It's
like
real
part of what's
life
happening.
coming into my session.
Yeah.
And as opposed to the examples I've given in previous episodes where I felt like I was maybe a little bit more in control of it, this time around, I'm still trying to figure it out.
And that's super nice.
And if anybody listening has ideas, feel free to give me some suggestions, and also let us know if you have similar things you're dealing with, whether you're working with children, youth, or adults. If this is a topic for you, reach out to us, and we'd love to start a conversation, because we're all trying to figure this out, and there's no one size fits all answer to it.
And I appreciate the fact, Andre, that you were also saying that there were some cases where you could really have an agreement with the students, but those agreements were going to be broken very soon, right? So it's really a lot about getting a little bit of momentum and using that momentum for as much as possible to forward your agenda, what you need to do for the session. And then the rest is really just accepting reality, like you were saying.
For example, with the two girls, and this will wrap up my example quite well. I need to use the time before the first laugh.
Exactly. Before
that
happens.
As soon as one laugh comes,
that's it.
It's a waterfall.
15 minutes of gone.
There we go. So,
exactly.
So it's really, you're right. It's choosing moments. It's making the most of times. And for me, it was just really a lesson in the most important thing that we can work on in this tutoring session is not math, German, English, content driven. It's, can I somehow help them concentrate?
Exactly. For at least a little while.
Give them experiences that will help them concentrate and get a little bit more control of their attention span.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's something that's going to be built up also when they keep growing and they start noticing also like how this process that they're going through is also relevant. But it takes time. It takes time, and one has to believe also in that.
Right.
And I also appreciate the fact that the way that we are talking about it today, Andre, is really understanding a group as a biological being, right?
Very true.
That is totally alive and wants, has desires, has needs, and that permeates into our sessions, right? And we have to accept that, right?
Right.
It's like there's no way for us to really have be talking to a stone and just expect the stone to be listening to us. That organic being that is the collective of everyone that is in the session, they have their needs, and that permeates into what we're living, right? The challenges that your students are having at home, the process that they're going through themselves. Like I was saying also with the entrepreneurs, the challenges that they're going also with their businesses, right? It's something that we just have to accept, that is the human life or human experience, to be going through these distractions all along, and then to also just understand which is a good momentum to start building on top of the moment that we have of focus.
Right. It's managing it, and it's learning to deal with it in an effective way. In your case, the ideal would be to unlock potential from it and enhance
and
workshop.
Use it for the session maybe.
And for me, it would be even getting a status quo through, even getting the minimum requirement
the
through.
Minimum barrier
sometimes is quite the success.
Yes,
already so it's adjusting your standards and expectations to the reality of the situation. And feeling content with what you've achieved, given the standards and requirements that you
already a tap in the shoulder from Andre. Like I managed to get them for 15 minutes out of the 1 hour that I had today.
And that's really what it's like. It's those little moments where I think, all right, at least
victories.
At least from this 1 hour, we had this 15-minute window where this and this happened, and that's truly how it is. But dear listeners, we hopefully were not too distracted recording this episode. I hope that somehow you could follow our train of thought.
Right.
I certainly wasn't the most focused today. Ale, I think,
which will help us.
We started out that way, already a bit distracted and not focused, but I think we managed somehow, and here we are.
Exactly.
As always, dear listeners, thank you for listening. As always, make sure to drop a like and a subscribe.
Suggestions for Andre also. This is a very good opportunity.
This time around, we'd be very grateful for that. Get in touch with us. We'd love to start a conversation with you.
By all means.
And we'd also love it if you have any suggestions for topics that you'd like us to touch on.
Yes.
And also feel free to share the podcast with as many people as you want.
As many people as possible, because we're starting to see a little bit of traction with the topics and with the people we are discussing it over here in Berlin. That makes us super happy every single time.
And we're having a great time, especially trying out all these different restaurants.
Oh, by all means. Food is something else. And now the summer.
We've got a couple ideas lined up for the next one, so I'm excited about that. And at this point, thank you for listening, and see you next time.
And thank you for being with us. Appreciate all of you.
Bye-bye.
See you. Bye.